What's up guys, it's your boy, Alex, and today we are doing something really dumb. I will attempt to clear 5 different steel path mission types using Operator, or in this case, Drifter only. We will do Exterminate, Spy, Interception, Assassination, and Disruption. Of course there is some rules, like I can't play Excalibur Umbra for obvious reasons. As a matter of fact, I can't use any sort of Specters. And I can't have any kind of help from my frame or companion. 1 Operator death equals reset the mission. Also no infested, because they are too weak at lower levels. And lastly, all runs are done solo. Now you might be thinking, why am I doing this? I don't know, I guess I'm just a stupid fuck. Before we begin, let's check my loadout. For the school of choice, I decided to go with Unairu. The main reason why Unairu is because it provides 100% armor strip with the power of Caustic Strike. And not only that, but with Unairu Wisp, we'll get additional operator damage whenever we use it. Other things that will be useful from the school will be Stone Skin, giving us extra tankiness, and Magnetic Flare, which will take off enemy shields. Of course, Years of Grinding will bring us passives from other schools, which will be very useful in fulfilling this adventure. We also do have Entrances maxed out from Duviri, giving us even more buffs. The amps we'll be playing are 547 and 177. We'll be switching between them depending on the mission type. At the time of making this video, I was thinking that I will use the 777, but surprisingly enough, the 547 turned out to be superior, so I stuck to it. For the Operator Arcanes, we got Magus Melt, which will increase our hit damage, Magus Lockdown, letting us AoE stun the enemies, Emergent Savior, giving us 1 free revive basically, and lastly Magus Cadence for the extra movement speed. Once again, these will be switched based on the mission. Amp Arcanes are here purely for the offense. Eternal Onslaught giving us more crit chance, and Eternal Eradicate giving us more damage. You will see that all of these arcanes synergize very well with each other. Okay, so first we did Spy. This was by far the easiest one from the list. All we had to do was not die and hack 3 consoles. Also, one more rule for the challenge, I can't fail anything, meaning that failing one of the consoles meant reset. The tile sets were pretty easy. I used Magus Cadence and Emergent Savior for this one so I can speed up the mission and not care about dying. This was done first try, as expected, but this was only the beginning. 1 out of 5 complete. Second on the list was an Exterminate. We could finally see if our setup was good enough to kill steel path enemies. Honestly, I was surprised how well this setup was working, and we were melting enemies in seconds. Look how strong this amp is, it's just ridiculous. Even without the armor strip from Unairu, it's just destroying everything. And I don't even need to aim. Like, I'm just shooting, look, I'm shooting in general direction of the enemies and they just die. There was one close call. Oh, no. Okay, that was a bit too close for comfort. But in the end, we were victorious once more. That's 2 out of 5. Both on the first try. I was thinking that maybe I made this challenge too easy, but the next on the list was Disruption. I was very skeptical if it was even possible, but I wasn't going to give up no matter what. The first try on the Disruption was terrible. I was doing decent damage, but my lack of defense was my end. I didn't pay attention to the other enemies apart from the Demolist. The second try was a bit better since I managed to get 1 Demolist down, but shortly after I was flooded by enemies once more and failed the second one. But with this I started learning, figuring out how to manage my resources and how to use my abilities to their fullest potential. How to kill enemies as fast as possible. I realized that my best chance at succeeding was to take down as many enemies as possible in a short period of time, grab a key and take it to the conduit far away. This meant that I needed good RNG with key drops. I needed the dropped keys to be the color of faraway conduits. I used Magus Lockdown to my advantage and I kept the Demolist stunned for the whole duration. I started getting the hang of it, the amount of damage I was doing, how tanky I was, and it was all going according to plan. My build was working in perfect harmony. Demolists didn't stand a chance. I was managing to take down Demolists, one after another. Acolytes were the least of my worries, honestly. They just died very quickly. Still learning to play Operator, I almost fumbled the last conduit. Watch what happens. I made a mistake calculating my sustain and buffs, which almost cost me the whole run, but in the end all 4 conduits were cleared and I swiftly went towards the extraction. That's 3 out of 5. This one took 3 tries. After this run I was sure I could do anything, that anything was possible, only to find out that Interception was even harder than Disruption. I was thinking of going Corpus, since Unairu is very good against Corpus, since we have an ability that completely strips enemy shields. I had a really good plan, or at least I thought it was a good plan. Taking the middle flag first so I can defend it while capturing others, leaving the shield strip area in the middle to debuff the enemies. It was working somewhat well, but the drones that actually don't have a shield turned out to be very problematic. They can capture the flags. They are very hard to hit with Caustic Strike and they were way too tanky for Operator. Fail after fail, I was starting to be hopeless. I even tried to run into them so they would just charge me and explode, but this left me too vulnerable to enemy fire and ended up dying still. After 5 tries, I was getting hopeless. I was changing strategies and nothing seemed to be working. In the end of all the runs, either enemies captured all 4 flags or I died because of poor energy management. I just couldn't keep up with the swarm of enemies. But I wasn't ready to give up just yet. I decided to change the tileset and try Grenier instead. And to my surprise, it was going better than Corpus. How? I have no idea. I had a strategy where I didn't really care if I had all 4 flags at the same time. As long as I had even 1% more than my enemies, that was enough. If all the enemies are on 1 flag, I just left them there and went to take an unoccupied flag. Magus Lockdown was very handy here since I could use it in tough spots, resetting the timer of capturing. I was very even with the enemies, but then slowly I started taking on the lead. Every little victory mattered a lot. I was very confident this was the run. This time I was the one in control. Enemies could not keep up with me. This was working very well and I was 20% above my enemies. Okay, 3%. I just need to not die. Yes, we did it. Okay, we just need to finish them off now. I'm not risking anything. Excited, full of emotions. My computer started sabotaging me and started lagging like hell. Despite all, I took down the Acolyte and the remainder of the enemies. 4 out of 5 complete. This one took 6 tries. And lastly, my whole life has led to this moment. This assassination. I was watching my Warframe in despair, hoping they could help me, but they could not. This was going to be the toughest fight I've ever had. I switched my amp to 177. I was ready. I studied this fight for days, making the perfect setup, and all I could do is believe in my skill. There was only one thing standing between me and the grand prize. This boss. Pre-buffed and ready for this long and hard fight. Excuse me, what the fuck? That's gonna be it for today. Turns out that Operator is much stronger than you think. This should be the proof that with enough willpower, you can achieve anything. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, and of course subscribe if you want to see more content. Take care friends, I will catch you in the next one.